How do you find your true purpose? Have you ever had that feeling of going around in circles and just not knowing which direction to go, not knowing which direction to pursue, or that you feel like there's so many options out there, so many interests that you have and you don't know where to focus your interest, or that you have all this different skill sets, you have all these strengths and you don't know which direction to focus your skill set. If you've been having that feeling and overall it feels like you've just been going around in circles, then this is for you. In order to find the right path, in order to really discover your purpose, it is important that you get critically reflective of your current situation. Whether or not you're in a job that you hate, whether or not it is unfulfillment, whether or not it is a toxic situation, whether or not you feel underqualified, that the direction you really want to go on, you're missing key skill sets to get there. Whatever that situation is, that you have to be brutally honest with yourself about what is the current situation. What are the contextual features around what's happening in your career path right now that is preventing you from moving forward? Because we've all had that situation where we felt like we could have taken action on something, but we never did. And I'll tell you a story about in the past where after my undergraduate degree, and I did my first degree in biochemistry and I did a minor in microbiology, and it was towards the end of that degree where I felt that I think I wanted to do my master's degree, because during my 4th year in undergrad, I was accepted into a lab research project where they called it a undergraduate dissertation, where I had a student-directed project in my 4th year, and at the end of that project I was expected to write a really long dissertation about my research. And that's what really fueled my interest in neuroscience, because it was the first time I was doing research in a lab. And so because of that experience, I knew for myself that I wanted to do a master's degree. And at the time, my mentors were telling me, my teachers were telling me, it's not a good idea to have a gap in your resume. So I was feeling that, well, maybe I should just go for my master's degree right after my undergrad. And of course, graduation day approaches, and I knew that I should really be applying for a master's degree. I should really be looking for my supervisor. I should really be applying for scholarships and trying to secure my financial situation, and because I was going abroad for my master's degree. And I knew that there was these things that I should do, but some things got in the way. I had these fears of going abroad for my master's. I had these fears of running out of money, and I didn't take action on a few things, and that really delayed my process by 6 months. And so I was 6 months late into applying for my master's degree, and I started 6 months later than I had intended to. So be critically honest of your current situation. What is it? Is it a lack of education? Is it a lack of skill? Is it fear? Is it lack of confidence? What is it? And what is it that is missing? What is that gap right now for you? And be critically honest about your situation. Because when it comes down to, the things that you should do, and if you reflect on an instance where you knew the things that you should have done, but you never take action to do it, it really comes down to status quo bias. And status quo bias is when we favor the current situation over a change, even if that change is healthy for us. So take for my example, I knew that I should have applied in advance before my graduation date. I knew I should apply for my master's degree and start to do research on universities and supervisors and financial help and financial aid. I knew I should be doing those things, but I delayed it by 6 months because I was afraid of the changes. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of, if I had applied and no supervisor wanted to work with me, then I would be faced with a no, and it would affect my self-esteem. Right? So these things are status quo bias, when we just want to favor the current situation. Whether or not that is healthy for us, whether or not that is productive, we have a bias, a tendency to want to stay with the status quo. It's easier to stick with the answers that you already know, which is the default. And it's even easier the more complex the problem is, especially when it comes to problems of figuring out what is your purpose. What is your purpose in life? What is your purpose that you want to pursue in your career? That's a very complex decision. That's a very complex problem to solve. So the more complex the problem is, we tend to stick with the answers we already know, which is the default. I'm going to give you 3 fundamental facts that you have to have in order to discover your purpose. The first one I already talked about, and that is to have facts about your current situation. Think about these as your coordinates. So you're on a career path right now, and it is one of self-discovery. It's one of discovering your purpose. So you have to have your coordinates. So if you were on a boat right now and you were in the middle of the ocean and all you could see stretched across the horizon was just water everywhere, 360-degree of water. The first thing you need to know is where you are right now, and those are your coordinates, because you cannot plan a trip if you don't know your starting point. So being critically clear about your current situation is extremely important because that's your starting point. It's your coordinates. The second fundamental fact are your goals. So think of this as your destination. So you're on the boat in the middle of the ocean and you have your coordinates, you know your starting points. If you want to get to where you want to be, you have to know where you want to go. So that is your destination. So the point between where you are now in your career journey, and you have to be clear of what you want. You have to be clear of the things you want in your career path. What are your goals of your career path? And that is your destination. So that's the second fact you need to know, is your goal, your career goal. The third fact that you have to have is the path that connects the two. The path that connects your coordinates with the destination. That is the path that connects your current situation, the facts about your current situation with your career goals. And that is your route. Because when you're on that boat and you're looking out into the vast ocean ahead of you, you first have to know your coordinates, where you are at now, because you can't plan a trip without knowing your starting point. And then you have to know where you want to go. You have to know your destination. And then you have to plan your route, right? So that's the third thing. You have to know the route, and that's the path that joins where you are and where you want to be. And if you think about it, I mean, if you're planning a trip in a new city, say you're visiting a new city and you want to go somewhere, but you've never been to that city before, the first thing you would do is maybe you would enter it on Google Maps. You would take out your phone and you enter it on Google Maps. And Google Maps will ask you what your current location is. So you confirm your location, and then you enter where you want to go. So you want to visit a restaurant, you enter the name of the restaurant, and then it gives you, okay, so this is where the restaurant is. And then it shows you the map. And then what's the next thing you can do? Google Maps allows you to choose your route. For example, do you want to choose a route that involves only highways? Or do you want to avoid the highways? Do you want to choose your route based on shortest distance or the quickest time there, right? So that's why it's important in your career path to know your purpose. You also have to choose your route. What are things that you're comfortable with? What are things that you want to avoid? What are things that you want to challenge yourself with because you know that's important for your personal growth? So once you have these three fundamental facts, are the three facts that are necessary for you to discover your purpose. Maybe that's you. Maybe right now you are trying to discover your purpose. Maybe right now you are looking for that next step in your career where you feel that you're working in purpose and on purpose. And maybe you have a general idea of where you want to be, but you don't really know what you want in your career. Or maybe you know what you want in your career, but you don't know how to get there. If that's you, then I invite you to visit careerrevisionist.com/intensive. That's careerrevisionist.com/intensive. And I'm going to include that link below, so look below for that link, because this is created just for you. If you're looking for that purpose in your career and you don't know how to get there, or you're looking for that purpose and you don't know what that looks like for you, the intensive is designed to give you a step-by-step framework on how to build that career so that you can have the fulfillment you're looking for. So click on that link below, careerrevisionist.com/intensive, and get the help you need to discover that purpose. Get the help you need and get the coaching from me, and I will be there every single day along the way to help you to discover what it is that is the purpose of your career, and so that you can be connected to that and doing work that is meaningful to you. Comment below. Where are you at in your journey? Do you know your destination? Do you know your current coordinates? And do you know the route that you're going to take? If you like my content, also remember to give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button below. Also ring that bell so that you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video, which is twice a week, every single week. So hit the subscribe, and I look forward to hanging out with you in my next video.